What really happened the night Tamar Braxton was spotted with another woman's husband just hours before her shocking accident? The story is messy, filled with rumors, social media drama, and accusations that nobody saw coming. But as usual, with Tamar, the truth isn't simple, and the details of that night have left fans questioning everything. If there's one thing people know about Tamar Braxton, it's that her talent is undeniable. The voice, the charisma, the stage presence, she's always been a force. Whether she's belting out powerhouse vocals or stealing scenes on reality, Tamar has that rare it factor that most people in the industry would kill for. But just as strong as her talent is the drama that seems to orbit her life like a curse she can't shake. For over a decade, fans have watched her climb to the top, only to come crashing down, again and again. The public breakups, the on-camera breakdowns, the explosive fights with family on Braxton family values, and the whirlwind of men who seem to come and go like seasons. No matter how high she rises, the chaos is never far behind. And it's not just petty drama. Tamar has publicly struggled with her mental health, faced major career setbacks, and even once survived a rumored suicide attempt. Through it all, her fans have rooted for her, hoping she'd finally break free of the patterns that keep holding her back. But here's the thing. Every time it looks like she's turning the page, a new headline hits. A new man enters the picture. A new scandal erupts. And once again, the spotlight is on Tamar for all the wrong reasons. That's why this latest situation has people so frustrated. Not just because it involves someone else's husband, but because the timing, the secrecy, and the aftermath feel all too familiar. Right before her accident, Tamar was spotted in a situation that triggered a wave of concern and judgment. And now the question everyone is asking isn't just what happened, it's why does this keep happening to her? But this time, things took a turn no one expected. The man Tamar was tied to that night was none other than Mendeecees Harris, a name that reality TV fans know very well, and not for the best reasons. If you've watched Love and Hip Hop, you've seen it all. The fights, the courtroom scenes, the family drama, and most of all, his rocky, exhausting relationship with Yandy Smith. At first, Mendeecees was introduced as the reformed bad boy, a man trying to turn things around for the sake of love and family. But as the seasons dragged on, that image crumbled. He became known as the kind of man who says he's loyal, but keeps showing up in situations that make you question everything. He's been accused of cheating, emotionally manipulating Yandy, and worst of all, treating her more like a placeholder than a partner. There were moments where he literally admitted, on national television, that he didn't even like how she looked after giving birth. And then there was the prison stint, a major chapter in their story. Yandy held him down the whole time, raised their children, and kept his name relevant. But when he got out, his attitude didn't reflect appreciation. If anything, it added even more distance between them. People began asking, why is she still with him? So when Tamar's name popped up in the same sentence as Mendeecees, the reaction wasn't just confusion, it was straight up disbelief. Not because Tamar's above dating controversial men, let's be honest, but because this was Yandy's man, a man who's still very much tied to his wife. And let's not forget, Yandy doesn't play when it comes to her image. So what was Tamar doing? Showing up arm in arm with him? That's where the night's chaos really begins. According to multiple reports, Tamar Braxton was spotted at V12 Lounge in Atlanta on the night before her accident. And this wasn't just some blog rumor. There was actual video evidence. Clips were posted to IG stories, TikTok, and fan accounts. Within hours, showing Tamar looking glam, relaxed, and in full celebration mode. She wasn't alone. The man by her side for most of the night, Mendeecees Harris, and they weren't exactly trying to keep a low profile. Eyewitnesses say they were vibing heavy, staying close, laughing, dancing, and definitely drawing attention from everyone in the room. Some described the energy between them as intimate, while others said it looked like they were on a date, not just two friends out at a party. It's worth noting that this was Funky Deneva's birthday event, and Tamar had apparently shown up as his +1. But when cameras started rolling, the focus shifted fast, and suddenly, it was all about Tamar and Mendeecees. Some guests said it felt awkward, like they were watching something unfold that wasn't meant to be seen. Others were already filming, sensing a scandal was brewing. Then came the real twist. According to sources close to the situation, Tamar invited Mendeecees and a small group of friends back to her home for an after-party. That detail spread like wildfire. People instantly started asking, why would she invite a married man to her house? What exactly happened after they left the lounge? And more importantly, what kind of message was this sending? Especially after everything Tamar had preached in the past about self-respect and setting boundaries. The backlash was immediate. Fans called called out the hypocrisy. Gossip pages lit up. Tamar, who's spoken publicly about women protecting their peace, was now the center of a story that felt anything but peaceful. But this was just the beginning, because someone else was there that night, and he wasn't about to stay silent. Funky Dineva, the outspoken YouTube personality known for his sharp tongue and unfiltered opinions, was the man of the hour that night. It was his birthday, his event, and the celebration at V12 Lounge wasn't just a casual get-together. It was a public scene, full of Atlanta socialites, influencers, and familiar faces from the love and hip-hop universe. So when Tamar Braxton pulled up, dressed to kill and oozing main character energy, most people assumed she was there to support her friend. She was Funky's guest, his +1, and from the outside, it looked like just another celebrity-filled night out. But something shifted fast. As the drinks flowed and the cameras started rolling, the focus changed. Tamar wasn't just mingling in the background. She was front and center, laughing, dancing, and most notably, getting close with Mendeecees Harris, Yandy Smith's husband. Now, this wasn't your typical industry networking interaction. According to eyewitnesses, the two were locked in, whispering to each other, moving together from one corner of the lounge to the next. By the end of the night, people weren't even talking about Funky's birthday. They were talking about Tamar and the married man at her side. Some fans immediately claimed Tamar had stolen the show. Others hinted at deeper tension, suggesting Funky might have been feeling some kind of way. After all, he's no stranger to drama, and being upstaged on your own birthday by your friend, who also happens to be tied to a scandal, that's a lot. Whether or not he felt betrayed, Funky Dineva didn't stay silent for long, because once the internet started spinning theories, he clapped back the only way he knows how: loud, petty, and dripping with sarcasm. As the gossip caught fire online, all eyes were on Tamar. Her name was trending. The blogs were posting nonstop, and fans were demanding answers. Was she really out with Mendeecees? Was he at her house? What happened after they left the club? Eventually, Tamar responded, but not with the clarity fans were hoping for. She didn't deny anything. She didn't confirm anything. Instead, she dropped a vague statement claiming Mendeecees was the leading man in her new visual project. That explanation left more questions than answers. What project? A music video? A docuseries? A skit? Was this a planned collaboration or something she just made up in the moment to deflect heat? The biggest red flag? No one, not fans, not insiders, not even Tamar's most loyal supporters, had heard a single word about this project until that moment. No press release, no social media teaser, no behind-the-scenes footage, nothing. Even more suspicious, Tamar didn't follow up with any receipts. No mention of a director, release date, or even a name for the alleged project. In today's era of content oversharing, that kind of silence is loud. People started calling it what it looked like, a PR bandage over a messy situation. And the fact that she was using the term visual project, so broad and non-specific, only fueled speculation that it was just an excuse. It felt like a last-ditch effort to spin the narrative. But it didn't land, because when someone with Tamar's track record starts getting close to a married man and then says it was all for work, people aren't just going to let that slide. And while Tamar was trying to clean things up, someone else had already flipped the whole story into a circus. Funky Dineva didn't take long to jump into the mess with his signature brand of sarcasm and shade. Instead of directly defending or attacking anyone, he posted a fake wanted poster with his own face on it, listing a wild series of fake accusations. The post joked that he was wanted for everything from slipping something in Tamar's drink to stealing her laptop with unreleased music, and even collecting her mother Miss Evelyn's social security checks. It was clearly meant to be over-the-top satire, poking fun at the way people were dragging him into Tamar's drama, and in typical Funky Dineva fashion, the caption basically said, "Leave me out of this mess," but not everyone was laughing. Some felt the joke was tone-deaf, considering Tamar had just been seriously injured. Others felt like Funky was deflecting attention away from what actually happened that night, and doing it in a way that made him look guilty. And that's when the internet did what it does best: spiral into complete chaos. Within hours, the CFCT situation spiraled out of control. What started as a messy party video turned into a full-on internet conspiracy circus, complete with memes, voiceovers, fake screenshots, and wild allegations that only the internet could invent. The moment Funky Dineva posted that satirical wanted poster, it was like waving a red flag in front of 1,000 digital bulls. Some people laughed. They saw it as typical Funky, making a joke out of drama, but others took it as deflection. Was he trying to downplay something serious? Why was he posting jokes when his friend had just suffered a traumatic accident? their timeline started to fracture. People began asking, was Tamar really okay? Did something happen after the party? Did Funky Dineva see something he wasn't saying? And why had Mendeecees vanished from the conversation entirely? Soon, the comments got darker. Some claimed Tamar had been set up. Others accused Funky of clout chasing or trying to throw her under the bus to protect himself. A few even suggested this was all part of a ritual, that Tamar was being sacrificed for fame, money, or status in some Illuminati-type storyline. And while most of that was pure fiction, the fact that both Mendeecees and Funky Dineva refused to provide real, grounded details only made it worse. Silence in a moment like this doesn't calm people down. It invites chaos. And when the people at the center of a viral scandal stay quiet, the public fills in the blanks with fan theories, false timelines, and drama that snowballs by the minute. The real story was lost, and in its place came a storm of speculation. As people debated who was with who said what, and whether Funky Dineva was being messy or just sarcastic, one crucial fact kept slipping through the cracks. Tamar Braxton was injured, seriously injured. She didn't just disappear for a few days. She posted about missing teeth. She referenced an accident. But even in her own words, she never gave a straight answer about how it happened. Was it a fall? A car accident? Was there an altercation? The lack of detail made the entire situation feel eerie. What shook fans the most wasn't just the injuries. It was the vibe. Tamar's energy online felt scattered. She was responding to some comments, deflecting others, and ignoring the biggest question of all. Are you safe? And when someone like Tamar, who's usually vocal, unfiltered, and emotional, suddenly goes quiet about the exact moment she got hurt, it sends a signal that something deeper might be going on. Even more unsettling was the silence from Mendeecees. If he was truly just a co-worker that night, if it was all innocent and professional, why not clear the air? Why not say, we were at a party, I left early, I hope she's okay? Nothing. Not a word. No defense. No concern. No acknowledgement. People started to wonder, was he there when it happened? Did he know something he wasn't saying? Or was Tamar protecting someone? Because at a certain point, the silence wasn't just suspicious. It was painful. And when a woman ends up injured and no one in her circle says anything, you don't just scroll past that. You start asking hard questions. Tamar claiming that Mendeecees was part of a visual project might have held weight if this wasn't a pattern we've seen before. The truth is, Tamar's career has long been entangled with her personal life. No matter how many times she tries to pivot back to the music, the drama drags her right back into the headlines. We've seen this cycle before. When her relationship with Vince crumbled, it was followed by a vague project announcement. When her engagement to David Adefeso ended in public accusations and restraining orders, she hinted at new content and documentaries that never came. Even her time on reality shows has often been less about her talent and more about her trauma. So, when Tamar suddenly pulled out the visual project card again, fans couldn't help but roll their eyes. Another scandal, another mysterious rollout, another moment where Tamar's real potential gets buried under chaos she might have been able to avoid. And this time, the stakes were higher. It wasn't just about her image. It involved a man who wasn't hers, a woman who didn't deserve the betrayal, and a public that's starting to lose patience. Because eventually, excuses start to feel like patterns, and patterns start to look like choices. There's a running joke in the Tamar fandom that somehow manages to feel funny and tragic at the same time. Every time she gets a new man, we find ourselves missing the last one. It's not just trolling, it's a reflection of how consistently chaotic her relationships have been. Fans remember the drama with David Adefeso, the protective but controlling ex who ended things with restraining orders and social media warfare. Then came J.R. Robinson, the reality TV winner who seemed like a good match, until their breakup became public and shady. Now, just the possibility of Tamar being tied to Mendeecees, even for one scandalous night, has fans saying, whoa, maybe JR wasn't so bad after all. It's like watching someone you love spiral, not because they're not smart, not because they're not aware, but because something keeps pulling them into the same emotional cycle. A toxic romance, a rebound fling, he's not that bad justification. All of it ends the same way. Disappointment, drama, and another hit to her public image. Tamar's fans want her to win. They root for her every time, but it's exhausting. They've watched her go through enough heartbreak for 10 lifetimes, and with every new man, the stakes feel higher and the red flags feel louder. At some point, people people stopped blaming the men. They started asking, why does Tamar keep choosing these relationships? What's she running from? Or worse, what is she trying to prove? Because when you're constantly choosing partners who hurt you, humiliate you, or hide behind NDAs, eventually the pattern doesn't point outward anymore. It starts pointing straight at you. At the end of the day, we still don't know what really happened that night. Was it just a party that got out of hand? Was Tamar caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? Or was there something more, something darker, that no one's willing to say out loud? The only thing we know for sure is that Tamar left that night physically injured, emotionally shaken, and surrounded by more questions than answers. There's no police report, no official statement, just whispers, Instagram comments, and half-baked theories. Tamar says it was just work. Funky Dinova says it wasn't his problem. Mendeecees, silent. And that silence speaks volumes. Because when you strip away the rumors and the reposts, what you're left with is a woman whose life seems to cycle through the same heartbreak over and over. And whether it's poor choices, bad luck, or toxic relationships, Tamar's pain keeps playing out in public. The real mystery isn't just what happened that night. It's why does this keep happening at all? At some point, something has to change. Or this story is going to end in tragedy, not tabloid drama. So we're asking you, what do you think went down that night? Is Tamar just a magnet for chaos? Or is someone finally going to tell the truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe, because if Tamar's history tells us anything, this isn't over.